Interested in seeing how we left from this to this? Just keep on watching. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is EJ, and if you're seeing my video for the first time, you're highly welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, I want to say thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, for watching my videos, for always coming back. I love you. Let's get started, guys. But please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. So to begin, I always start by cleaning the face using my micellar water. So I use my Adventure micellar cleansing water with the aid of my wipe to get rid of any hidden dirt underneath the skin. So for moisturizer, I'm going to be going in with my Moist Essence moisturizer from Blossom Makeup to hydrate the skin. I kind of like this moisturizer because it's quite affordable and it gives me the hydration which I seek for. So it's very good. So I just applied generously all over her face, especially the under eye. And after applying it, I use my fan to dry it up before moving on to the primer. So for primer, I use the Mismetic Aqua Grip Primer. So with the aid of my foundation brush, I just applied all over the face except the under eye. So the primer gets sticky and tacky. So from the word grip, you could tell that after applying it, it has to stick to your face. So after applying, you have to wait, use a fan to dry it up in order for it to stick to your face before moving on to the foundation. So for foundation, like you just saw, I use my Adventure foundation in the shade Sultan. So this, looking at it now, it's kind of looking dark. I don't know, looking darker than a little bit darker than her skin, but I don't know why. So I just use that shade in the shade Sultan. So after applying it, I use my soft and damp beauty sponge. I made the beauty sponge be damp. What does that mean? It means I make it to be wet, but when you press it or squeeze it, water shouldn't come out from it. So I just use my soft and damp beauty sponge to just blend in the foundation generously and not generously, uniformly, sorry, all over the face. Blending is a key. Remember, foundation is just like the base, just like when you are constructing a house. It's foundation that set the pace for everything, right? So you have to blend in the foundation very well so that every other thing that is coming can sit in place so well. So to contour her face, I'm using my Ezekiel foundation in the shade which is 2 shades darker than her skin tone. So I just applied underneath the cheekbone, around the temple and the side of the nose. So after applying it, I used the same side of my beauty sponge which I use in blending the foundation. So I place the beauty sponge in such a way that when I'm blending, it's taking care of the lines, separating the contour and the rest of the face. So after contouring the face, I just move forward to the blush, which I use my orange shade from my Girl 3D blush palette, and I apply around the cheekbone. That's I blend moving from the upper of the cheek towards the temple. And for concealer, I use my Adventure concealer and my Avoid concealer. For Adventure concealer, I use the shade 1. So I just apply around the highlighted area. So after applying it, I use my soft and down beauty sponge, the clean section of the beauty sponge, to just blend in the concealer around all the highlighted area. So when I was done highlighting and contouring the nose, I used my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to just melt down everything. Then I went in to setting all the highlighted area with my Mirac setting powder in the shade Ginger. So I'm using the same beauty sponge which I used in highlighting, in blending the highlighter. So I just apply it around all the highlighted area. That is the under eye, the bridge of the nose, the forehead and the chin. So I just blended everything thoroughly to make sure everything is in place. So after setting the highlighted area to set the rest of the face, that is the blank spaces. So I'm using my powder from my V Beauty powder palette, which is the same shade as the rest of the face. right? I just use with the aid of my big fluffy brush. I just applied all over the rest of the section which has not been highlighted. So after that, remember we said for makeup everything cream, you have to go powder. After that, I'll just go in with contouring my nose again, using my small fluffy angle brush and my shade from my powder palette, which is exactly like the shade I used in contouring. And for the rest of the section which I previously contoured, that's the under of the cheekbone and the temple. So I still went in again with the same powder which I used in contouring, right? The powder form. So I just repeated the same thing. So after contouring the face again, I'm going to now go in with my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to melt down that powder effect before moving on into baking the face, which I use the same setting powder, that is a Miracle setting powder in the shade Ginger. So after baking and doing my reverse contour, I'll just move straight into my brows, which I'll begin by outlining by laying down the hair using my brows gel from Nikki Signature with the aid of my small brush from um, Issa and Those makeup, right? So I'm just using it to lay down the hair very flat in order for those stubborn hair not to be hanging. So after laying down the hair, I'm going to go in with my setting powder again to make sure every moisture around the brows is absorbed, there is no oil. Then I use my fluffy brush to dust it off, dust off the excess setting powder. So to outline the brows, I'm using my brown brows pomade from KR Makeup and my angle brush from Issa and Those to produce the outline. So I'll just start outlining the bottom from the beginning. When I'm getting towards the end, I just tilt downward. For the upper section, I'll just start outlining halfway. Then when I'm getting towards the bending point, I just tilt downward. So for the upper section, I'll not actually start outlining right from the beginning because we want that area to be looking natural. So even while concealing the brows, where you ended, where you started outlining, right, that's when you start concealing. So I'll just repeat the same exercise for both sides of the brows. And to fill in the brows, I'm going to be using my Davis pencil, well sharpened and pointed Davis pencil in the shade 003 to produce tiny hair-like strokes or tiny hair-like structures to make the brows look very natural and good. So to conceal the brows, I'm going to be using my flat brush and my angle brush from Issa and Those. Then I'm using my lighter shade of V Beauty foundation and my darker shade. When I say darker, it's like 2 shades darker than her skin, right? So I'll just start concealing with the aid of my Issa and Those angle brush. I'll just start concealing the bottom. But now I'm using the lighter section. I'm not starting right from the beginning, right? I'll just conceal and then use my after concealing it, I'm using the tips of my angle brush to conceal. After concealing it, I'm now using my fluffy brush, my small fluffy brush, to blend in the excess concealer because we don't want to leave that area messy. So we'll just repeat the same exercise for the other section. Then for the upper section of the brows, I'm using the tips of my angle brush again, inside those angle brush, and my darker foundation. Darker does not mean it should be too dark. It should just be like 1 or 2 shades darker. Just like 1 shade darker is enough we just conceal the upper section because we don't want any harsh line. Because if we are using the same lighter shade like we use for the bottom, for the top, right, it will make, we're going to have something like harsh line around the upper section of the brows, which is not going to make it look natural. So that's why we're using a shade which is like one shade darker than your skin tone for the upper section, such that it should be natural. So after concealing the brows, I'm just going to go in. We don't want to leave that area moist, right? So we're going to go in with our powder from our powder palette, which is exactly like the shade we use in concealing. So I'm using the lighter shade of my powder from my powder palette to put around the bottom, right? Then for the upper, I'm using the one which is like almost the same shade as my skin tone, or one shade darker than the skin. So after applying it thoroughly, we'll just blend in everything. Then for concealer, for the eyeshadow, I'm going to be going in with my Adventure concealer. So I just place it around the eyelid where the eyeballs lies. So after placing it, I'm using now my fluffy brush, my small fluffy brush, to blend in everything, making sure that everything is in place, right? So just blend in everything, blend so that there will be no harsh line. When you blend your concealer very well, your eyeshadow sits in very well. But when you don't blend it very well and there's crack line, it doesn't look nice, right? So we have to blend in everything so well. So for eyeshadow, I'll first begin by going in with this orange shade from this girl eyeshadow palette. So I'll just place it all over around the eye, where the eyeballs lies, right? I'll just place it on the eyelid where the eyeballs lie. Just place it, blend it very well. Do the same thing for the other section. Blend and blend, making sure that everything is in place. And after placing that directly on the eyeballs, I'm going to go in with my pink shade, that a kind of light pink shade of light pink shade from that same eyeshadow palette. I'll just, now I'm not distributing it all over. I'm just placing it just around the area where the eyeball lies, right? Just like in the middle. So after placing it, I'll just blend everything. I'll do the same thing for both sides. Then to blend out the edges of the eyeshadow, to blend the edges, I'm now going in with this dark brown shade from the same eyeshadow palette. So I'm just blending it around the edges, starting from the outer corner, moving towards the inner corner, right? So I'll just blend from outer corner, inner corner, outer corner, inner corner. Then after that, I'll just finalize again by placing that light pink shade again, still on that middle section where the eyeball lies. So moving forward, I'll be lining the eye, which I use my black brows pomade again from KR Makeup and my angle brush. So I'll just begin by producing the outline from the outer corner of the eye. So I'll just try to form something like a triangle. I don't know how I can put it. So I'll first of all produce like a line. Then I just like a triangle, I try to link it up. But when I'm getting towards the inner corner of the eye, I'm reducing the size. It's getting thinner, thinner and thinner. So you just do the same for the other side of the eye. So after that, I'm now going to go in with my white liner here. I'm going in with my white liner to just line directly above the black. So just produce the line directly above the black. Next, just smudge out the under eye. I'm using my brown is it kind of brown, not like brown, right? Shade from, it's just looking like brown or orange, so mixed with orange, from my V Beauty Naked V Beauty powder palette. So I'll just blend the under eye before going in to lining the waterline. So to do the waterline, I'll just use my powder puff to pull her eyes downward, then ask her to look up. Then I just start outlining with my angle brush, beginning from the outer corner of the eye. So I'm just putting lining directly on the waterline, right, from the outer corner of the eye, moving towards the inner corner. So for the lips, her lips are really small. So she said I should do her that kind of Kylie Jenner kind of lips, Khloe Kardashian kind of lips. So she wanted the full lips, right? So I'm using my brown brows pomade and my angle brush from Issa and those. So I'll start outlining, like, yeah, outlining slightly above the lips. So we'll go above the lips and outline. We're not just outlining on the lips, like above the lips, in order for the lips to appear fuller, because our lips are really small. So I'll just outline slightly above the lip. After producing the outline, I use my fluffy brush to blend in, right? If we want to produce that kind of fully, we have to blend in. We don't want a harsh line. So I'm using my fluffy brush to blend in. So I'll do that for both sides. Outline the bottom again, blend in. Then I'll now go in with this my matte tint lip stain, right? So I just apply it directly on the lips, then use my fluffy brush to blend it. So I'm using my fluffy brush to apply it, then I just blend in everything, making sure that I blend the lines, separating the brown outline and the main lip color. So guys, at this point I was just trying to give it a tiny outline again for the lips to appear sharper, because it was kind of looking like faint white. I just wanted it to like pop out a little bit. So that's why I see I was just using my angle brush, just outlining again further. But now we are producing just a tiny outline. We're using just the tips of the angle brush, right? So after doing that, I just move forward to my blush. So for the blush, I'm using my pink shade from my exclusive blush palette. So I just applied around the apple of my cheek. So I just blend, moving towards the temple. So we don't want too much blush. So I'm just doing just a touch up of the blush for my blush palette. Yeah, so I just blend in everything, moving from the apple of the cheek towards the temple. So I did that for both sides of the eye. So moving on, I'm using my fan brush, my small fan brush, to dust off the excess eyeshadow fallout, right? So after dusting it off, I just go in with my angle fluffy brush to press in the setting powder which I left around the under eye to absorb moisture and for the eyeshadow fallout to be taken off. So I'm using my fluffy brush, which is my angle fluffy brush, to just blend in. So I'm pressing in. I'm not dusting up at this point. I'm just pressing in. So around when I arrive the area where the fluffy brush is too big, I just use my smaller fluffy brush again to blend in around that area, right? So you blend everything, blend and blend. Then after blending, when everything is taken off, you make sure you blend the rest of, use a big fluffy brush again to blend the rest of the section of your face. Right, then I now use my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to melt down that powder effect. Then I use my fan to dry it up. For highlighter, I'm using my Blossom Makeup highlighter palette, sorry. So I just wanted to give the face some glow, right? So I just apply a little around the forehead, just for that area to pop out, right? Then I use my small fluffy brush to apply around the cheekbone. That's where the line separating the blush and the highlighter. Then a little around the bridge of the nose, and then a little more around the chin, because we wanted that glow. So after that, I use my big fan brush to blend in everything. We blend in the highlighter because we don't want any harsh line. Then to seal the makeup and lock everything in, I use my Sopro Seal spray. So I just ask her to hold her breath for a little while. Then I use my spray to just lock in the makeup. Then use my fan to dry it up before going in with my mascara. Right, so guys, I always do the mascara at the end, because most of these sprays, this sealing lock in spray, like, they kind of irritate. So imagine that you just apply your mascara before going in with the spray, and the point where the client will have to twist the face, if the mascara is not yet dry up, it might stain the under eye. So that's why I just leave it and do it at the end. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is the end of the video. What do you think about the look? Just let me know at the comment section below what you think. If you have any questions, just let me know at the comment section. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. Bye guys, love you all. See you all in the next video.